What's good, Commanders fans, and happy hump day. Just making a video today because of Dan Quinn had his presser earlier this year. Not yet this year, today, because of the Spain time change, the difference between here and there, and the game's at 9:30. I don't even know what time it is in Spain. I can Google it real quick. What time is it in Spain? Real quick, right now. It's 1:52 p.m. in Spain. It's like 7:52 a.m. right here. So I'm recording this video earlier. There's nothing that's going to happen today. There's no breaking news or anything like that. We're not going to make any signings. We already signed DeMarcus Walker yesterday, the defensive end. So those are the moves that we made. We did open up Will Harris's 21-day window, so that's good news right there. I mean, it's kind of a little too late. It's not really going to make much of a difference in my opinion. I do like Will Harris. But I guess when Will Harris comes back, Jeremy Reeves will come back. We'll be on the bench or have a rotational role on the roster. Quan Martin will probably rotate as well. We'll rotate safeties because honestly, at this point, no safety is really head and shoulders above anybody else. All safeties have had their ups and downs so far this year. But Dan Quinn, good news. Chris Rodriguez will play. This is a good opportunity for Chris Rodriguez and also Bill. You look at some of the numbers for the Dolphins. They allow the fourth most rush touchdowns to. They allow the sixth most rush yards to running backs. They also allow fourth most rush touchdowns to quarterbacks as well. Their rush defense is not good. Looking at some of their game logs, you look at the Jets. They allowed 81 rushing yards to Breece Hall, 81 rushing yards to Justin Fields. So this could be a good game for Marcus Mariota and a good game for the Bill or C-Rod, probably C-Rod. When they played the Chargers, they let Kamani Vidal have 124 rushing yards. When they played against the Browns, they allowed Quinshon Judkins to have 84 rushing yards. When they played the Ravens, they allowed Derrick Henry to have 119 rushing yards. They allowed a 200-yard rusher against one team. Oh, the Panthers. Rico Dowdle had 23 carries for 206 yards and 1 touchdown. And that's insane. That's how bad they are. That's how bad their run defense is. Now, I remember we played against the Bears, and I said the same thing, how bad the Bears' rush defense was, and we were not able to run the football against them. So, you can't really get too hyped up or too confident about playing against a mediocre defense. And they just beat the Bills. They beat the Bills. The Dolphins are a weird team. They're not a good team, but they're a weird team. They beat the Falcons 34-10. They beat the Buffalo Bills 30-13. They got blown out by the Ravens. They got blown out by the Browns, and they barely lost to the Chargers 29-27. So they're an odd football team. Of course, the Patriots, they only lost by 6. Of course, you know how those divisional rivalry games go. But they're a weird team, man. They are. Like they have talent. Jalen Waddle is talented. Devin A-Chain, of course, is definitely gonna go crazy against us. But they do have their flaws. Tua Tagovailoa, of course, a lot of interceptions, like double-digit interceptions already throughout the season. So there are some opportunities for sure, and I think C-Rod will get some opportunities to have some effective runs against a mediocre run defense. But like I said, they did a good job against the Bills last week, so you just don't know who's gonna. And the league has been so weird this year. It's been such an up and down week to week. A lot of upsets, just a lot of weird games have happened so far this year. Also, Dan Quinn says expect more Johnny Newton this week with Daron Payne being suspended. He talked about that. Terry McLaurin is now on to the on-field portion of his rehab. That's why he is in Spain. He's also there for the nice free vacation as well, as people are joking around and saying that. So, yeah, he'll do some on-field work this week. Sometimes these injuries take longer than what you want. Of course. So, I mean, we'll see what happens with that. There was a tweet by Nikki where she was talking about Terry's on-field rehab the first time where he injured the quad. Now this is the re-aggravating of the quad injury. So she said, if I recall correctly, Terry first started doing some on-field stuff to the side about 2.5 weeks into his recovery from the quad injury the first time around, so roughly the same amount on the second go-around. He aggravated it in week 8 and will start on-field stuff today. So we'll see how that goes. It looks like he will play. They're going to try to get him back on the field. They're going to try to get Jaden back on the field. Noah Brown did make the trip unexpectedly. I was very surprised about that. He is eligible to come off. And they could open up, I guess, his 21-day window as well today, really. I mean, I had the thought process that he was done for the year. But, of course, he can come back. But it's Noah Brown. So every injury he has, for the most part, is a long-term injury, at least, 2 to 3 or 4 games that he missed last year. He had the groin, whatever injury it was. And he missed the rest of the season in the playoffs. And then he was carted off in minicamp. He missed time. Then he gets hurt against the Packers. He misses more time, multiple games. So he hasn't been back since then. That was week 2, and we're at 3-7. So he missed 6 or 7 games or whatever. So we'll see what happens. But that's what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to bring Jaden back, Terry back, Noah Brown back, and then he'll have Debo, and then he'll have a full arsenal of receivers. At least he'll have his top 3 receivers. That's what they're going to try to do for, the people who are like, he needs reps, he needs reps, he needs reps. But, okay, can you at least throw him out there and get him reps with, receivers, NFL-level receivers instead of, I like Robbie Chosen a lot, but Robbie Chosen, Ja'Cory Brooks, Jacoby Jones, they're not even elevating Ja'Cory Brooks. And guys like River Kraft and Treylon Burks is hurt. Like, we just can't get right at any position. I was just going to say receiver, but injury-wise, we just can't get right at any position for the most part and be healthy. So that's really the updates for today, guys. Terry McLaurin on field, Noah Brown on field, which is just crazy to see and think about on the side field. And then Will Harris' 21-day window has been opened up. I have not looked at the injuries for the Dolphins. They will put out an injury report later today, but, it doesn't really matter. As long as Tua's healthy, Jalen Waddle's healthy. They did trade Jalen Phillips to the Eagles, who helped them out yesterday or Monday Night Football. I think he recovered a fumble against the Packers. That helped them seal the win, the 10-7 ugly. They win the ugliest games ever. The Eagles really do. They win ugly games, but a win is a win is a win. So I can't hate, even though I hate the Eagles with a passion. They have Jalen Waddle, Devin Achane. They do have Nick Westbrook-Akine. They do have another guy, is like number 14 or something like that, another receiver. Malik Washington, Ollie Gordon, and then another tight end too. I can't remember the guy's name. Greg Dulcich. They do have him too, who's a solid tight end. So they do have Cedric Wilson as a solid receiver too. That can definitely hurt this defense, even though Dan Quinn will be calling the plays, and I don't think it's really going to make much of a difference. I do think they're going to play harder, though. I do feel that. They just don't have the personnel, but I do feel like they're going to play harder. But like I said, the Dolphins, too, on third downs, they're not good either. They have not been good on third downs, but, we'll see how we do against them on third downs. Probably not good either. They're 23rd on third down defense. We're 25th ranked on third down defense. So they give up 41% of plays on third down. So that's the recap. Dan Quinn, I know people have been asking about if Dan Quinn commented on Daron Payne. Let me see if he did say anything about Daron Payne here. And then I'll move on and wrap it up for today. We'll just end the video with a quick word from today's sponsor, Sleeper. That is really it. Let me see if did they say anything about Daron Payne? He said something about like retaliation or something. I feel like he said something about retaliation or something like that. Yeah, no, he didn't really say anything about Daron Payne. So, all right, I'll just wrap it up there. If I do see anything about Daron Payne, then if he said something, then it is what it is. So, all right, guys. As always, hello, Commanders. Peace. Oh, let's go, Commanders fans, and shout out to today's sponsor, Sleeper. Just want to hook you guys up with a great deal. First time users get a 100% deposit match up to $100 if you sign up using the link down below in the description for Sleeper. Remember that terms and conditions apply. Also, there's a free $20 entry as well that I'm going to help you guys out using promo code Oliver. You guys can get those deals for first-time users using the app. #1 daily fantasy sports app, Sleeper. So let's get into the picks for the game against the Lions. Now, of course, Sleeper is you pick more or less on player props, receiving yards, passing yards, rushing yards, receptions, all kinds of stuff that you can think of for player stats. You pick them more or less on their player props. So we're going to go with a system play. 6 out of 9 quarterbacks that have played against the Commanders have gotten more on their passing touchdowns from Geno Smith, Sam Darnold had 4 in the first half. So we're going to keep it going with Jared Goff, more than 2.5 passing touchdowns, and you pair that with the free play with Daniel Jones over a half a passing yard. So let's keep it going, unfortunately, with players getting more than their passing touchdowns. So 6 out of 9 quarterbacks. Pat Mahomes did it. Dak Prescott did it. Basically almost every quarterback we played. Like I said, Michael Penix went over his passing touchdowns as well. So let's keep it going with the system play against the bad Commanders defense. Let's get back to the video. Peace.